Welcome to Your Success Podcast. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. I'm Mo.
And I'm Angelos.
And we're really excited to be here with another deep dive into one part of the brand new Your Success book, which is released on Monday the 24th of September on Amazon. And this is part of our mini-series where we're deep diving into different sections of the book and talking about those on the podcast. So this is now the 7th episode, and today we're going to be talking about controlling your environment. But before we do, Angelos, what's the book about and what's it called?
Well, the book is called Your Success.
Right.
And
tell me more.
It's certainly it's helping the reader create their version of success. So to help them become more successful and become a happier, more fulfilled person. So what we've done is we've collected the wisdom and all the things that we've learned from interviewing amazing guests over the time we've been running the podcast, plus drawing from our own experiences and distilling that down into what we believe to be the 10 key traits of success. So we've put all of that into the book, but a lot of books are just theory, and we give the theory backed up with a actionable toolkit, so you can action stuff that we talk about in the book, because without action you might as well not know anything. So yeah, we're really excited. It's coming out Monday the 24th of September on Amazon, and we can't wait.
Brilliant.
So,
I just thought of a quote.
Go on.
To know and not to do is not to know.
Yeah, it's very true, isn't it?
I can't remember who said it, but it's a good quote.
Some wise man.
Some very wise man. Or woman.
Or woman.
Okay, so today's podcast is all about environment. So, what is environment?
So that could be anything that affects you externally.
Right.
So that could be, your spouse, your family, your friends, your work environment, your social environment, anything that has an impact upon you, the way you think, the way you behave, influencing your thought patterns, your beliefs, your vision of the world. Anything that impacts upon you is directly.
Okay, so it can be people, or it can be places, or it can be government, or it can be where you live, or whatever. It can be any of those things.
All of these things can affect how you achieve whatever it is that you achieve in your life. So I think we give an example of hydrangea flower.
Yeah.
So if you take two identical flowers and plant them into two different types of soil,
like different levels of acidity or alkaline.
Different pH levels. So if one is growing in an acidic soil, will grow up to be a pink or a red, and then the same flower planted in something a little bit more alkali will be a bluey purple. So that's the same with a human being. So if, let's say, they are raised in a positive environment where they're supported and pushed and mentored and helped, they're more likely to achieve their success a lot quicker. Compare that to someone who, let's say, no fault of their own, they're in a quite uncertain political environment. Maybe their opportunities aren't as great as someone who lives in a more stable country, for example, and that could hold you back from achieving your success.
That sounds like that's leading on to an excuse, though. Like, I didn't grow up in the right environment, and I wasn't.
It could be used as an excuse, but we talk about this as part of overcoming excuses. Yeah. And yes, okay, you may not have had as many opportunities, or you may not have had as many head starts, but there are a number of cases throughout history where people have overcome these odds and done outstanding things.
And I think that's the point, isn't it? That's what we talk about in the book, is that you can control your environment, and there's some things that aren't that easy to control, but you can still control them, and you can still, if you've got negative people in your life that are family or whatever, you can or friends, you can still not cut them out, but you can reduce the amount of time you spend with them, and the types of things that you talk about when you're with those friends.
Yeah. I mean, I forget who said it, but we did write it in the book. We said that small minds talk about people. Slightly more enlightened minds talk about events, and enlightened minds talk about great ideas. And if you find that you're constantly surrounded by people who, perhaps in your friend circle, whatever it is, always talking perhaps negatively about other people all the time, maybe that's something that you need to just step away from a little bit and reduce that time that you spend with that person, so that you can surround yourself with better people who will be talking about new ideas, growing new opportunities, whatever it is, to try and increase your positive environment.
Cool. So Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I looked it up. It was actually Henry Thomas Buckle, but I think falsely sometimes attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt.
That's correct, yeah.
Which we may or may not have put in the first draft of the book. So yeah, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. I think I really
Thank
like
you, Henry.
Thank
Great
you.
quote.
Thank you, Mr. Buckle. So we've talked about what is environment. We've talked about why it's so important, because it's sort of it's everything about your life. It's where you go. It's the people you talk to. It's every single second of your life. Your environment is having an impact on you, and you can choose for that to be either a positive impact or a negative impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to chuck this at you, Mo. I know it's a bit unscripted, but you've created a successful, multiple businesses, haven't you? And you're surrounded by a very positive, driven team, and that can only push everyone up. Yeah. Whereas conversely, if let's say you had surrounded yourself with just negative people who just turn up on the day, do the bare minimum, it's going to be a real struggle to try and infuse the whole 100%. Team to do really well.
And I think that positivity and attitude is one of the key things that we look for at interview, because a lot of hard skills, like being able to use a computer system or being able to do something specific, you can teach, but actually teaching attitude and changing mindset and teaching negative people to be positive is a lot harder work. So we want to surround ourselves and have our team full of people that are positive and, not naive to say that there won't be challenges, but look at challenges as a way to grow. Again, something we talk about in the book. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and if you are surrounded by negative people and you can't get away from it, then perhaps you need to make some time to find people, whether that's networking in your specific field or finding a mentor or a coach who will help push you in a positive manner, as opposed to being surrounded by people who aren't necessarily going to make you the best version of yourself.
100%. And I think we need to distinguish, like, you can be realistic. You can be a realistic person without being a negative person. And we're not saying that you need to surround yourself with people that are just very naive about, the hard facts of life and the world and the fact that not everything's going to work and things like that. So you need some realism as well. But I think the intent in which it's delivered, you can tell whether someone's giving you feedback that's constructive and positive and wants you to win versus someone that is actually just saying something negative to tear you down.
Yeah, we talk about crabs in a bucket in the book, and that your mate down the pub, we give an interesting example of how if let's say your mate down the pub, he's comfortable in his environment, you're just there every Friday evening, or maybe more often, you're drinking a few pints of beer, you're having a great laugh, but that's not necessarily going to take you to the next level of yourself. That's not going to push you to your vision of success. And if let's say you want to create a gym, let's say that is part of your vision, your success. He isn't necessarily, or he or she may not necessarily agree with that, because that's taking you out of your comfort zone, but also him out of his comfort zone. And the fact that doesn't quite match up with what he's trying to do at the moment. It's uncomfortable, but like we say in the book, you only experience growth when you're in that uncomfortable area. So get used to being uncomfortable. That's what we're saying.
Definitely. So we've talked about people being the biggest factor, and it is really the biggest factor, because it's the people that you interact with every day, and it's one of the things that you can change quite easily as well. So it's harder to just uproot your life and move to somewhere different if you need to do that, but you might have to do that. But actually, to start hanging around in circles of people that are more positive and more aligned to your vision, have got similar kind of ideas as you, or not even ideas, but just approach to life, I think, and positivity. That's one of the things that you can literally change instantly. You could go along and go to a networking event where people are in a positive mindset, and stuff like that. But
sometimes, Mo, even if it is your immediate country, for example, the potato famine in Ireland, they went off in bucket loads to America. Conditions weren't always as great as what they thought they were, but sometimes you do need to take those big, bold steps, and you can become quite a successful person because you've done that. And it takes a lot of balls to do that.
Definitely. And so the next piece is haters. So we sort of touched on that a little bit. Haters are basically people that have no intention of you winning. They just want to tear you down. They find any excuse to do that. And the bit that we've talked about on previous podcasts and also in the book is about really the best revenge on a hater is just to really succeed and do really well. Not to retaliate and not to sort of go out publicly on Facebook and say anything, but just to quietly get on with your business and just win, and that's like the biggest middle finger to the haters that you could give.
Can I use my quote mode?
Go on.
Okay, so when dealing with haters,
did this one make it into the final cut of the book?
It did.
I'm not sure.
100%
Okay, let me just
I'll
email
make sure.
the editor now.
So I created this phrase about dealing with haters, and that is, let them chew wasps in your success shade. And I think it's really important to just expand on that, because we say it in jest, but it really does make a difference, because they're always going to hate you no matter what you do, whether you're success in this or that or whatever else, that you're always going to have people who don't appreciate what you're trying to achieve. And I guess the best revenge on them is literally to, like you say, to do well. And you can't spend too much time thinking about it. Like you mentioned earlier, you do also have to listen, because sometimes they're not coming from a place of hatred as such, as a very strong word. Perhaps they have a legitimate concern and they're trying to help you, but in a negative coating, shall we say, and sometimes their criticism is actually very valid. So you do have to be open to it.
And they maybe don't have the tact or empathy to deliver it in a way that makes it palatable to you. So you have to then go, well, actually, I'm going to dig down under what it looks like on the surface, and actually there's some good stuff I should listen to.
I mean, for example, face to face, if someone says, "Oh, you're crap,"
okay, so it happens all the time.
You just gotta say, okay, why do you think that? Tell me more. Because at the end of the day, there's obviously something that's irked you. Is it me? Is it the service? Is it the delivery? Whatever it is, try and expand on it. After the end of a few minutes of talking to the person, you should have an idea of what their motivation is, why they've said that. Perhaps there's a good opportunity to turn that unsatisfied customer into a really good champion of your business, provided you deliver on that customer service, if it is genuinely something that you've done wrong.
100%, completely agreed. So, let's just leave it there. Let them chew wasps in your success shade. I think that's
bloody great saying.
Is that going to be on your tombstone? When you pass. So that's haters, and I think that's the best way to sum it up. So we'll leave it there. The other thing that we talked about in the book is how to control your environment, and we've already talked about sort of the people that you're around and things like that. But we also talk about setting yourself up to win. So I think part of this is framed as...
so this is your internal environment.
Yeah.
What's going on inside your mind. Yeah.
This is much more about willpower is a finite resource. By the end of the day, you'll find that if you get tired and things like that, that's why we sleep, because we need to reset and recharge and things like that. You'll find that your willpower will reduce by the end of the day. So if you can set yourself up to win from the beginning of the day and have, whether it's systems or processes or simple things like having your gym kit out and having it washed and ready to go, or whatever it is, removing the friction from the thing that you want to do.
Yeah,
that's what we talk about in the book.
I like that term, remove the friction.
Yeah.
So for example, if let's say you constantly go out there and buy a cheeky Nando's, right?
Yeah.
Well, why is that? Well, is it because you haven't packed your lunch before you go to work? It's just those small little things. So small little things. It's the discipline in your mind, which then becomes a habit over a period of time. And also planning your time to become more efficient. If let's say, I work 9 to 5:30, there's never any time to grow my plan for success. I don't have time to read that book. Maybe it's simple things like watching less TV, or just creating that time, booking that time out. So using your diary to monitor how much time you're spending watching TV in a week, and then you go, oh bloody hell, I'm watching like 3-4 hours a day. I can actually, if I wind it back to just a couple of hours, that frees up a couple of hours for reading time to help grow your mindset, whatever else. And also it's important to increase the quality of what you consume. So we mean both food, to keep the motor that keeps you alive going, but also the knowledge and the wisdom that you're putting into your brain.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I was just thinking that just triggered a thing I saw on Instagram earlier, and I thought I would read it out, which is talking about time blocking and things like that. And it's a quote from a book. It doesn't say which book. Book is "You Are a Badass" by Jen Zero something. I'll put it on the link, but it says, put your priorities first. Don't check emails or voice messages or Facebook until you've gotten into your day and accomplished some of the tasks you want to do. Don't answer the phone or text while you're busy. Other people's needs can occupy several lifetimes worth of your attention, and if you let them, they will. I thought that was really, really nice, because it's literally everyone, like, the first thing you get up and you look at your phone and you look at your emails, and then you're constantly, it's almost like you're behind from the beginning of the day. So blocking time out, getting up early, writing things that you're grateful for, going for exercise, preparing your food, writing down what you want to achieve for that day. That's so important. Set yourself up to win, and then worry about everything that's coming in from your external environment after that.
Absolutely, definitely. And it will add discipline, it will make you more efficient with your time, and you will create and produce more.
And Jackie Tomes on the podcast previously talked about the concept of time blocking as well, that she does, doesn't she? Which is where she just literally months and months ahead, she'll just put in her calendar, this time is for this thing, this is strategy review time, this is actually, I'm going to actually say this is half an hour for Instagram every day or whatever, and actually block the time out so that it goes into your calendar, so you know what you're doing, and then you're not reactive.
And that allows her to go on holiday every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because she's so efficient with her time. So,
definitely.
Yeah, you have to be disciplined.
100%.
So, yeah, like to summarise the most, so we have the external environment, which we can control pretty much to how we want it to be. Then we have our internal environment, which is a lot more difficult to control, ironically. Just having good...
it's reprogramming, isn't it? And that's what we go into it in more detail in the book, but it is just reprogramming your daily habits and paradigms, which are things that are the way you view the world and your mental models, and that would naturally take longer to do, and it's harder, and you have to keep doing it. Whereas your external stuff is quite easy to be like, well, I'm just going to go there and do this, and then
get on the ship, go to America, job done after I don't know, a day or so. But to recreate or create new habits,
reprogram stuff that's been like, and reprogram sounds a bit culty, but it is reprogramming your brain, rewiring to change the way that you've done things for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You've done things the same way. It's going to take work every day to change that. So yeah, definitely more work.
Cool. Well, you've heard our thoughts on environment, both external and internal, and we want the negative influences and positive influences that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But we want to know about your experiences with the environment, and what changes have you made that have positively affected your life. So please pop your comments in on the Facebook video or the YouTube video. Email us on hello@yoursuccesspodcast.com, or get in touch on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
So thank you for listening to Your Success Podcast. Please click subscribe, leave us a review. We do read them all, and we look forward to your comments, as we've said, on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget, the book launch is 12 days away. Sign up at tiny.cc/yourbook for exclusive launch offers and discounts.
So yeah, it's launching Monday the 24th. Really excited. So I've been Anglos.
And I've been Mo.
I'll see you again on the next exciting episode of Your Success Podcast.
You have been listening to Your Success Podcast. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com.